Hello, welcome everybody. Thanks Farai for that beautiful musical opening. My name is Steve MacQueen. I'm the artistic director for the Flynn here in Burlington, Vermont, way up north, about 90 miles south of our nearest big city, Montreal, Canada. Right at the corner of Church and Main in Burlington, we're housed in the Flynn Theater, a 1930 Art Deco movie palace with a capacity of about 1,400. Like all these theaters built in the 20s and 30s, it had the same arc. In the 70s, a community had to make a decision whether they wanted to rehab it and make it a focal point for downtown activity, a community gathering place. That's what Communities with Vision did. Communities Without Vision tore them down and built office buildings. I bet they wish they didn't, but I'm glad to be in a community with vision. We've been a performing arts center since 1980, so for 40 years, the Flynn has been a performing arts center, and there were good decisions made early on. We do commercial work to pay a lot of the bills. We'll bring in the Broadway series, big name artists, local promoters will rent the Flynn for big time rock shows. But at our heart, we're a community arts organization, and we're into residencies, commissions, education. We're a home for modern dance, world music, and jazz. But we present the entire spectrum, everything from classical music to burlesque. We also have a smaller space down in the basement, the former Last Chance Saloon. You can't make this stuff up. A 180-seat black box where we are free to do all kinds of smaller scale, more experimental work. We're extremely proud of the work we've done with artists and audiences with disabilities. We present about 100 shows a year. We're a busy place in a non-COVID season. Obviously, all of this is non-COVID talk, right? And once a year in June for 10 days, we present the Burlington Discovered Jazz Festival, where for 10 days, Burlington is easily the best place in America to be. It's an amazing thing. We're also an arts education broker in Vermont. We bring 35 to 40,000 students a year to the Flynn to see student matinees by international world-class performers. And we also have teaching artists embedded in the schools. And we also have camps and classes for people of all ages out of our Flynn Arts program. So we're a very busy organization that has been 40 years kind of building and trying to really embed it in the community and be a major factor in this community. For the past decade or so, we've focused a lot on local and regional artists and working on commissioning them and giving them a stage. Vermont can be a little hidden. If you're not on your way to Montreal, you gotta wanna come here. Although you should want to come here, it's a beautiful place. But there's also a vast amount of talent here, things you would not expect, like JAG Productions down in White River Junction that are amazing. Burlington itself is an international resettlement city, an official resettlement city. So we have an amazing number of new Americans who've brought their powerful traditions from somewhere else. There's Anwar Aga, the Syrian oud player here, classical incredible player. There's A2VT, a young rap group with members from Somalia, Tanzania, and Burundi. And there's Usman Kamara from Guinea, an incredible balafon player. And then every now and then lightning strikes and you get an incredible established New York City dancer who moves to Middlebury to start her work there. And I'm talking about Christal Brown, who was an A-lister in the New York dance scene for a long time, danced with Baby Miller, Bill T. Jones, Liz Lerman, Urban Bushwomen, and then suddenly here she is in Middlebury, Vermont, and we're delighted to have her here. The Flynn's already presented her work, Opulence of Integrity, and today we're going to spend some time talking about her newest work, What We Ask of Flesh. So we bring on Christal. There she is.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
It makes me smile to see you. It's delightful to have you here, and to be able to watch some of your work and to share that work with people in a national audience. This is really
Exactly.
Oh, go ahead.
Just being here in Vermont, like you're saying, which is a small state. Yay, our COVID numbers are down. But also being able to be in a small space and impact so many people is really a blessing through this platform. So we're really grateful to be here with you and the Kennedy Center and Facebook and NEFA. So thank you.
Yay, NEFA. I guess my first question would be, I sort of alluded to it in the lead. Why does an established New York City dancer like yourself, I mean, you were mid-career even, really, and why pull those roots up and come to what some would describe as incorrectly as the middle of nowhere, but certainly a place that's more far-flung than New York City?
Yeah, well, Steve, artists have different motives. And I have a lot of different parts of me that really wanted to live my fullest. And one of those is being an educator. So in my role as the former chair of the dance program at Middlebury College, I was really able to increase the capacity of not just the arts, but of the people who support the arts. Right? Middlebury is not a conservatory. Many people don't even know we have a dance program, but we are training and teaching and educating some of the top 10% of every field in the country and in the world in what the value of the arts is. So I really am a person of impact. So I really wanted to think about where my talents and gifts were going to be most impactful. And as an educator, I feel like educating the people who can not only dance, but support dance, understand dance, advocate for the arts in general, and understand the impact later on is more of a gift for me in the long run.
I agree. And I think that's what ties you and the Flynn together, why we work together so easily, is because what's on the stage is a beautiful thing. That can be an almost religious experience, watching an incredible performance, but it really is about what leads up to the performance and the resonance after the performance that makes it sit in your heart for a long time and can change you, I think. So that's been beautiful. So are there any downsides? I hate to be not positive, but I gotta play the form. So what are the challenges and the blessings of being a dance maker in rural Vermont?
Yeah, well, I guess the challenges are similar to the same challenges that you face anywhere. Is people really want to know, what is it you do? So, explaining what you do as an artist, no matter if you're in a big city or a small town, is always going to be a challenge, right? But I really will say that being here in this small town, which I'm from a small town, that I'm a small town Southern girl. So coming to a small town was really full circle for me, but it gave me the opportunity to hone in on what it is I really do. And yes, people might say I'm an artist. Some people might say I'm an educator, a storyteller, a mother, a coach, an advocate, all these things. But what I really am is a person who's in love with people and the human experience. And I want to put myself in the midst of how my skills can intersect with their need anyway, as that's any way possible. So, making dances is just one way that I found early on in life that got to people's hearts the quickest. And so I don't make a lot of dances, you know that about me. I mean, we toured Opulence for 6 years, and that piece had an amazing impact, not only just on the artists who were in the work, but two of them you'll see here tonight. You'll see, I keep saying tonight, it's the daytime, but tonight. You'll see Orlando Hunter and Ricardo Valentine, who were a part of that cast. And although it was taken as a biopic, a movement biopic about the life of Muhammad Ali, it was really about how African-American men find their greatness and continue to persevere towards that greatness. And so what we ask of Flesh is another way of looking at the capacity of life. The company and I have really come to a definition of Flesh that it is the barrier between the world and the soul. But it's a barrier that has holes. Things can seep in and seep through, but it's like a sponge. Once it's caught enough residue, or as much residue as it can hold, then it's full, and the capacity of that one life is done. And I want to just thank Ramika Bingham so much for inspiring this work. We're going to hear from her today during this hour. She's the poet and the writer who inspired this work by creating a book of poetry called What We Ask of Flesh. And we're going to hear excerpts from that poem. We're going to hear from that book. We're going to hear my favorite piece, Topography, first. And then we're going to hear some from her newest book, Conversions.
It is so exciting to have the actual inspiration source for the dance be here to read the poetry. I don't see why we shouldn't just jump in and hear Ramika do Topography to kick this off, and then we'll go into the dance, and we'll come back halfway through and talk about this some more.
Let's do it.
Great.
Topography. Tonight, I'm moving, traveling beyond modern mumbling to a prehistoric groan. Before fillers and fidgets was the guttural hum, the soft skin of thigh under rough, begging hand. Before we began paraphrasing want, there were tongues with purpose, topography for mouth and underbelly, dams for the body's rivers. My breasts are tender for the wrong reasons, not insistent teeth, unyielding jaw, or needing hand. They ache from the lack of honest touch. Keep watching, and I'll open my body like Solomon, serenading Shulamite daughters of distant lands. If evidence is what you want, get the pomegranate wine. Choose any appendage as a reed brush pen. Sign here.
We will get stronger. We are not scared. We will last longer. We are not scared. We are not scared. Oh, 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 oh.
Conduit. Science says we are not autonomous. We carry each other in our bowels and bellies, in our brains. Cells pass through birthing or breast milk stay with our mothers, their mothers. Vespers that prove we do not work of our own accord. The miracle is, inside we only give. Not like the taking that persists outside ourselves. Foreign cells flurry to an injured heart, repairing it before ruin, staying for years, tens of years, tens of thousands, if we kept on living as intended. What I take from this is what we are reluctant to bear. The whole world is nothing but a valley, and in that valley there are mountains made of trees, and trees made of grass, and stars that fall into the underbelly of everything, beginning again. How can all this be mistaken? Who can imagine we are not made? We save our memories and talents, gristle and muscle and bone, all of what we are, rescued and reborn. In the womb, there is the drum of the heart beating, speaking to another small drum. And the music is a valley we are all coming to. Conduits, chimeras, too vast to be named.
Oh my goodness, that was so fabulous! Are you kidding me? You did that. You and
You
your
know,
dancers.
I did
That's
some.
incredible.
You only ask them what to do, then they make it amazing. I just want to say,
Whoa.
let's just be really clear with everybody, Steve, that we found out about this amazing opportunity 2 weeks ago.
Very true.
My team is amazing. They kind of jumped into action. We turned everybody's living room into a performance space, and it's just really been amazing to watch the love pour out for this work. What you saw were Jenna, Kulacz, and McMichael. They're the newest members of our family/company. Jenna was in Westchester. Malcolm is in Jersey City, New Jersey. And they just started. And also shout out to Black Violin. Love you guys. Heard you're great at the Kennedy Center. We'd love to collaborate. Obviously, we're fans. Just want to say that. So they were using this piece of music called Triumph by Black Violin, and that investigation is called What We Ask of Flesh Endurance. And then the second part of what you saw with Ricardo in Orlando is one of the excerpts of What We Ask of Flesh Compassion. And so the ways that we're looking at this, and the reason that I've been working on this piece for 4 years, is because the question is so big. What we ask of flesh is so intuitive, but yet misunderstood. It's confusing, but yet it's holistic. It's everything we are and want to be that we can't really put into words or movement. And so even working towards this premiere for the Flynn was a synthesizing that was just taking me over, right? It was like, what can I cut down? What can I pare down? What can I translate that would get to this 4 years of investigation? And we still haven't found it. So, we're inviting people today after this, when they watch this, that they want to continue to see our process unfold, then we have a way to support the work called the Process Pass. And you can click over to crystalbrown.com/invest, and we'll drop that in the comments. But in this time of artists creating and turning basements into theaters and studios, and ring lights and Zoom and digital platforms and all kinds of things that it takes to make the work palpable and real, like you just felt with these artists, is what we're asking for support for now to continue this investigation. Yeah.
Well, I think if you always look for things that we might bring out of this basically horrible time that we might see in positive ways. And I think one of them is there will be like a renewed interest in process because of Zoom, because we're having to see things in different contexts. It's not all finished product on a stage. And hopefully we'll come through with a greater appreciation for that process. Like you're an artist and I'm in my end, we're process people in the first place. To me, the process is at least as interesting as the product, right? And at least, and oftentimes more, right? It's often process is always interesting. Sometimes finished pieces aren't. That's just how life goes, right? But I think watching it like this and people seeing it, that will just be natural to want to investigate more that kind of process. I guess I have a question that'll sound stupid after we just saw, but were you worried when you came to Middlebury about being able to find a company of dancers? I mean, clearly you did, but was that a concern, like leaving New York, leaving basically the center of modern dance in the world, and you're coming to Middlebury? Were you worried about putting together a company? And how did you go about doing it? How did you find these incredible people like Jersey City and all these other places to do this work?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting, Steve. Again, I make work when I feel like I have something to say. And many people don't know that my dance career started because my best friend's mom dropped me off at the wrong place. I was supposed to go to a piano lesson. She dropped me off at a ballet class. That's how it all started. So I really am invested as a woman of faith in that people who cross my path are people who I'm supposed to intersect with. So I probably had 2 auditions in the 18-year history of the company. The rest of the people who are in the company have been because they felt like they had something to add, or I felt like I had something I could offer them. And so that's how you see. I mean, Malcolm and Jenna got into this new family because I was setting a piece of this. I was setting What We Ask of Flesh Endurance at Elon College. She's actually still a student there. She hasn't graduated yet. And then Malcolm, I met at a summer intensive, and he said, "Hey, Christal, this summer I'm working on this series of dance films. Would you be one of the choreographers?" And then this opportunity came up, and we folded him right into the process. So it was just really about people who are there and interacting at the time, because really that's, there's so many of us who have talents and skills. True. And as you're seeing now, this is not just about the dancing. Right? And that's another thing that I think the Process Pass will offer people a glimpse into. I've been collaborating with Farai for the last, I don't know, maybe 18 years. Our collaborative process is such that I trust him so much that it probably makes him uncomfortable. Right. So I'm just like, I don't know. Do whatever you do. It's, I trust him immensely. Right. I'm inspired by Ramika, and the artists who work with me are like my family. They, we talk, we don't just wait until we get into the studio to be people with each other. Okay.
So if you do your dancers all live in far-flung places. Are rehearsals all Zoom kind of things?
Yeah. Well, the last 2 weeks they've been all Zoom. Yeah.
How about before that? Do you manage to be in the same space when people were still allowed to do such things?
Yeah, we were in the same space, sweating all over each other.
Awesome.
One of the amazing
remember
when places were places? Yeah. So we used to be all over sweating on each other, and that's one of the kind of things that really brings me back to the crux of this work. There's a game that we play in rehearsal when we have the company together, or that we did, called How Do You Protect Your Soul? And we set up these trios where there's one person who actually is the soul, one person is trying to get to it, and the other person is trying to protect that person. And it creates this dynamic of intersectionality amongst the artist and the intention that is so dynamic to watch. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to get back in the studio and really kind of extrapolate and tease out as one of the through lines of the work.
All right. Well, you say quite accurate. It's not just about the dance. What do you look for when you know someone? Oh, you should be in my company. I want you. What is it that speaks to you about a person that needs to be in INSPIRIT or needs to be in your company?
I'm going to tell us a really quick story, and he's probably going to he can say whatever he wants to me afterwards. But so Ricardo right now is the oldest alum in this company. Not like age oldest, but he's been working with me the longest out of the artists that you'll see. And Ricardo was a student at a summer festival called the Earl Mosley Institute for the Arts. And I happened to pick up his journal. He had left his journal behind in the right.
Did you read his journal?
He left this little red book behind in the studio one day, and I opened it, and the first page said something to the effect that he was going to change the world. And I was like, oh, Me too. Like, who is this kid? Like, we're like, it's little things like that where, I teach at a lot of places. I meet a lot of people. Some people can take my clarity a lot of times as um, uh, arrogance, or they could take it the wrong way, right? And so I know that people who can be with me and listen and know that everything I say is really about me loving them, those are the people who can take it, right? And it's not about the hazing of a lot of companies like, get your leg up. It's like, who are you? Like, if you're gonna be in the room with me, you got to be fully who you are, because I'm gonna be fully who I am, right? And so it's one of those type of exchanges. So I know that, and I guess the quick answer to your question, Steve, is it's a meeting of authenticities.
Okay.
And that authenticity could be like, I have no idea who I am, but that's honest. Or it could be like, I'm owning all this and I want to put it to service on the stage.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. So we've been talking about the company a lot, and yet this next piece, the final piece, is going to be a solo.
Oh yeah.
Of yours. And I'm curious, what at the point where you are as a choreographer, how do you know when something's going to be you on stage doing a solo as opposed to somebody else? What is it about a piece that says, I'm doing this? It's me.
I don't even know if I know when it's going to be on the stage, and who knows if what you're about to see will make it into the final premiere.
Oh.
I wanted to do this little excerpt today. It felt relevant because it's how the piece all started. People can watch on YouTube the What We Ask of Flesh solo that's been up for about 3 or 4 years. And this will be a separate take on that information. But this one is going to be from the perspective of journey rather than the perspective of warrior. So what you see on YouTube, What We Ask of Flesh, the Christal Brown solo, is more about the perseverance and the warrior of the woman in me. And this is more about the perseverance of being able to continue the journey of the flesh.
All right. Well, let's continue our journey for today and move on towards that solo. This is going to be great. And we'll talk again afterwards.
All right. See you soon.
All right.
How I crossed over. When Mama enters this time, she is like the old insurance man with her checks and balances. She inspects the house and tallies what I haven't done. No savings, no spare rooms, no Bible worn thin. She licks the tip of her pen like old folks do to mark me, mark what's missing. But nothing comes. Here, I say, I have a way with these things. The ink flows heavy as blood when I press against the ledger, and Mama watches, waits to see if all that truth-telling gonna hold through to the afterlife. I finish her work. No companion, no assets anyone can see. Mama shakes her head like a Southside preacher, summons child, cross over here with me. So I become my blinding self. Blackbird, singing, home, free.
my breast are tender for the wrong reasons. Not insistent teeth, unyielding jaw, or needing hand. They ache from the lack of honest touch. Keep watching. Now open my body like Solomon, serenading Shulamite daughters of distant lands. And if proof is what you need, she's gone. She's so 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 gone. It's okay. It's okay. I cleaned it up. It's okay. 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 Come! Come! Come!
I guess I'm supposed to just talk now. That was amazing. That was Christal Brown doing a solo piece from What We Ask of Flesh, work in progress. It's been an amazing hour that just passed. We've seen dance from McMichael and Jenna Kulacz and Brotherhood Dance, music from Farai Malianga, and beautiful poetry from Ramika Bingham-Risher that started the whole project down the road. Truly fantastic, and makes me miss even more the fact that we're going to have the world premiere of that on the stage at the Flynn. Christal, as she said, Christal has a thing you can if you want to go to christalbrown.com, you can actually investigate contributing to the company, supporting the artists directly, and actually keeping up with their process as they work on this piece. I think it's a fabulous idea. Actually stay in touch as she builds the work with pieces like this to build to the final product. If you like process at all, then what you've just seen today is a real window into the creative, into the mind of Christal and these amazing dancers. That last piece just showed her ability to just pull emotions out of you. I'm a little teary. I do apologize. That was really powerful. So I want to also thank the Kennedy Center and the New England Foundation for the Arts for giving us this platform, for letting the Flynn be a part of it, and for letting us show what we're doing up here in Vermont. We're doing some fun work, and we're going to bring Christal back out in a second, because amazingly enough, she can do that and then just come back and talk. I guess I'm more of the Daniel Day-Lewis model, where I couldn't speak after a week if I did something like that. Are you kidding? That was so fabulous.
Thanks,
Wow.
Steve.
I don't even know where to start. Like, I'm I haven't seen that whole piece. We didn't do this in rehearsal, right? You'd say, oh, I'll start here and then I'll end here. So that was the first time I actually saw it. And just the ability to connect emotionally when I don't even know the literal path of the story that you do was really amazing. There were two different times in there where I was just like, there was some emotion, some sense of loss that was coming to me too. It was just really quite astonishing.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Steve.
You're gone. Where'd you go? Oh, there you
are. So sorry. There is a sense of emotion. Like I said, this piece, the last section of it, or not even the last section, because we don't know what the last section is, but a real clarity moment for me in the process of this work was watching my mother pass away. And I was there. And I know what that looks like. Yeah. And so to have this definition that the life is a capacity of what residue you can hold, and watching that come to fruition in the ending of her life was amazing. It was amazing to me because we don't often see that. We don't often get to be there to have that closure. So for me, it was an amazing gift.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's what was speaking to me. I lost my mother last year as well, and I just wonder if there's just like some primal thing that connects these, and everybody's experienced loss, certainly. So we don't need to be told an exact story to just have that somehow pulled out of us if you know what you're doing, emotionally. What an afternoon! What a I almost said evening, like you. That was incredible.
I know,
A show is supposed to be in the evening. But an incredible company you've got there together. The piece, also Ramika and Farai's work just seems to go right with it. I was curious where the Farai piece, you've been collaborating for so long. You just knew when it started that he would be part of it?
Yeah.
Is that just
Well,
how that works?
this solo, every piece of music that you heard tonight, I mean today, 4 o'clock, was created by Farai, except for the Triumph piece by Black Violin. So Carter in Orlando, the piece that I just did in the opening, that's all Farai's creation and response to my musings.
Mm-hmm. And so what's the future of this work? Are you going to keep working on it? Like you can't just quit after 4 years, right? You'd have to find something
exactly
else.
right. So we're going to keep working on it. Like I said, I hope people will feel the need or the desire to invest in this work and stay a part of our process. What we want to do is continue to create and rehearse over Zoom and bring in some new company members and get some new perspectives, and then synthesize the last 4 years into an hour-long experience for audiences to see either in person or digitally. So if you purchase the Process Pass, which is a $100 investment in the company's creative process, you are paying for digital storage, you're paying for editing hours, you're paying for rehearsal time, you're paying for dancers to have high-speed internet so that you can actually rehearse and upload footage, and you're getting a delivery to your email inbox once a month with a short video about how the process is going, interviews with not only myself and the dancers, but Farai, the composer, Ramika, the writer, and keeping up to date on where we see the process going. And when we do have something that we think is a piece, a cohesive thought, we want to share that with you either publicly or digitally. And people who have a Process Pass will get 2 free tickets to that digital or in-person premiere, as well as a gathering with the company for the pre-champagne premiere toast online or in person.
That sounds fun. I hope it's at the Flynn. That would be awesome.
I hope so.
Or in the Christal Brown business at the Flynn, because we're already also working on another piece with you in the future with Same But Different, right? That's very exciting.
Yes,
as well.
Same But Different. So. You can also get a Process Pass too. My collaborator Lida Winfield and I are working on a piece called Same But Different, different bodies, different struggles on the periphery of different sectors, but really intuitively intertwined.
Yeah, I look forward to that too. But I'm gonna have to go sit and maybe have a drink and just ponder this. Go out in the beautiful Vermont summer, sit on the porch and go, oh my gosh, that was incredible and powerful. I'll be watching this again. Just thank you so much for sharing your artistry with us and your company. Thanks to everybody in the company. It's a great company you have. And certainly thanks to the Kennedy Center and NIFA and everybody that put this all together. So
thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Time to actually head into the real night.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Cheers.